Welcome to the Galgotias University e-content platform. I am Kumari Pallavi, Assistant Professor of Mass Communication Department. Today I am going to discuss a topic from the course, that is Development Communication for Bachelor's in Journalism and Mass Communication program. In today's presentation, I will talk about the diffusion of innovation theory, under which I am discussing the basic concept of diffusion of innovation, elements of diffusion of innovation, innovation decision process, rate of adoption, different adopters and attributes of innovation. Before talking about the diffusion of innovation theory, do you know what the term diffusion and innovation means? Basically, diffusion is a social process that occurs among people in response to learning about an innovation, such as a new evidence-based approach for extending or improving healthcare, whereas an innovation is an idea, behavior, or object that is perceived as new by its audience. The diffusion process typically involves both mass media and interpersonal communication channels. And in today's world, when information technology is rapidly present in the whole world, then the information technology and interpersonal communication represent formidable tools of diffusion. Basically, the diffusion of innovation is one of the oldest theory of social sciences. It was developed by E.M. Rogers in 1962. This term was used extensively in communication studies to explain the process of diffusion of an idea or product through a specific population or social system over a period of time and momentum. Roger has also highlighted that this term refers to the process by which the idea of innovation is communicated through certain channels over time to people in a society or a social system. Here, innovation refers to idea, practice, or object perceived as new by an individual or the other unit of adoption in society. There are various elements of diffusion of innovation is also discussed by the Rogers. Basically, he discussed the four main elements of diffusion of innovation, that is the innovation, the communication channels, time and the social system. These elements can be easily observed during any and every diffusion process. So let us discuss the elements in details. First one is innovation. According to Rogers, innovation is an idea, practice or project that is perceived as new by an individual or other unit of adoption, as I have already discussed this. And he also elaborated the communication channels as a second component of diffusion of innovation process. And in the process of explaining diffusion, Rogers defined communication as a process in which participants create and share information with one another in order to reach a mutual understanding. Thus, communication occurs through channels between sources. A source is an individual or an institution that originates a message. Channel is the means by which a message gets from the source to the receiver, and the diffusion is a specific kind of communication. The other element is time. As per the Rogers, the time factor is overlooked in most behavioral research. He contends that incorporating the time measurement in diffusion research shows one of its qualities. And the last element of diffusion is social system. The social system is the component of diffusion process which characterized by Rogers as the social system as an arrangement of interrelated units occupied with joint critical and a shared objective. The Rogers has also discussed the innovation decision process as an information seeking and information processing activity where an individual is motivated to reduce uncertainty about the advantages and disadvantages of an innovation. For Rogers, the innovation decision process involves 5 steps. The first one is knowledge. In this step, an individual learns about the existence of innovation and seeks information about the innovation. Like what, how and why are the critical questions in the knowledge phase. During this phase, the individual attempts to determine what the innovation is and how and why it works. Another step is persuasion. Persuasion occurs when the individual has a negative or positive attitude towards the innovation, but the formation of a favorable or unfavorable attitudes toward an innovation does not always lead directly or indirectly to an adoption or rejection. And the third stage is decision making process. Under the stage in the innovation decision process, the individual chooses to adopt or reject the innovation, while adoption refers to full use of an innovation as the best course of action available. Rejections means not to adopt an innovation. And the fourth stage is implementation. At the implementation stage, an innovation is put into practice. How an innovation brings the newness in which some degree of uncertainty is involved in diffusion. Uncertainty about the outcomes of the innovation still can be a problem at this stage. And the last stage of innovation decision process is the confirmation. At the confirmation stage, the individual look for support for his or her decision. So these stages typically follow each other in a time-ordered manner. And Rogers has also defined the rate of adoption as the relative speed with which an innovation is adopted by members of a social system. For instance, the number of individuals who adopted the innovation for a period of time can be measured as the rate of adoption of the innovation. Further, he also discussed that at a certain point in the diffusion process for an innovation, the rate of adoption begins to suddenly increase at an inordinate rate. This takeoff in the rate of adoption creates the S-shaped curve of innovation, which may be represented like the given figure. So, on the basis of rate of adoption, Roger has also proposed different types of adoption. Basically, Rogers defined the adopter categories as the classification of members of a social system on the basis of innovativeness. This classification includes innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. For Rogers, innovators were willing to experience new ideas. They are gatekeepers, bringing the innovation in from outside the world of the system. Next is the early adopters. Compared to innovators, early adopters are more limited with the boundaries of the social system. Rogers argued that since early adopters are more likely to hold leadership roles in the social system, other members come to them to get advice or information about the innovation. Next one is the early majority, the adopters. The early majority adopters are those who are interested to who have a good interaction with other members of the social system. They do not have the leadership role that early adopters have. However, their interpersonal networks are still important in the innovation diffusion process. The early majority adopts the innovation just before the other half of their peers adopts it. The second last is the late majority adopters, which includes 1/3 of all members of the social system who wait until most of their peers adopt the innovation. Although they are skeptical about the innovation and its outcomes, economic necessity and peer pressure may lead them to the adoption of the innovation. The last one is the laggards. Laggards have the traditional view and they are more skeptical about innovations and change agents than the late majority. As the most localized group of social system, their interpersonal networks mostly consist of other members of the society from the same category. So these are the five kind of adopters which Rogers has defined. Do you know why certain innovation spreads more quickly than others? And why do others fail? Diffusion scholars recognize five qualities that determine the success of innovation. The first one is relative advantage, the second one is compatibility, third one is complexity, and fourth one is triability, and the last one is observability. So, the relative advantage is the degree to which an innovation is perceived as better than the idea is supersedes by a particular group of users, measured in terms that matter to those users, like economic advantage, social prestige, convenience, or satisfaction. The greater the perceived relative advantage of an innovation, the more rapid its rate of adoption is likely to be. There are no absolute rules for what constitutes relative advantage. It depends on the particular perceptions and needs of that user group. And the next one is the compatibility. The compatibility with existing values and practices. This is the degree to which an innovation is perceived as being consistent with the values, past experiences and need of potential adopters. An idea that is incompatible with their values, norms of practices will not be adopted as rapidly as an innovation that is compatible. And the third is simplicity and ease of use. This is the degree to which an innovation is perceived as difficult to understand and use. New ideas that are simpler to understand are adopted more rapidly than innovations that require the adopter to develop new skills and understanding. The fourth one is triability. This is the degree to which an innovation can be experienced with on a limited basis. The innovation that is triable represents lesser uncertainty to the individual who is considering it. And the fifth one is observable results. The easier it is for the individual to see the result of an innovation, the more likely they are adopt it. If, for example, as friends and neighbors of an adopter often easy to adopt for a new innovation. So that's all for this session. Today in this lecture, I have discussed about the basic concepts of diffusion of innovation, different elements, innovation decision process, rate of adoption, different adopters and attributes of innovation. These are the readings related to the topic which you may refer for future references. Thank you for listening me and please feel free to contact me on my email ID for further queries which is mentioned on this slide. Thank you.